great way to start the day. Could you gather every morning about 8:30 and sing praise? When I met you 3 years ago in Decatur, I had not yet begun the presidency here at your wonderful university. But I do recall saying to you that surely teaching 6 children how to drive would be sufficient preparation for leading a university. What I have discovered in my first 3 years on the job is that the wonderful people at the University of Findlay already know how to drive, and they drive well. They may not always take the same route, but as it turns out, they are all headed toward the same destination. My job has been to help them identify that destination, our common purpose. And together we have discovered or rediscovered the 5 principles that guide our work. And I'd like to share those briefly with you. The first principle, and perhaps the most important, is this one. The University of Findlay is grounded in Christian faith, welcomes all people, and respects the roles of faith and reason in reflective study. 2, merging the best of education and professional preparation, the liberal arts, the natural sciences, and experiential learning is the ideal preparation for 21st century scholars. 3, we are all teachers. Teaching students is our most important responsibility. Every trustee, professor, staff member, church member, community supporter should contribute to our students' learning. Together with our students, number 4, we will engage in a caring, honest, respectful, and reasoned exchange of ideas. And 5, as colleagues with our students, we will be prepared to serve others and to participate fully in a diverse, environmentally responsible, global society. 5 apparently simple statements, but if they are lived fully, very deep and meaningful statements. And I knew that I had landed in a good place when the entire campus and the cabinet, the trustees, and I were able to agree where the commas go. Never mind the depth of the meaning of those statements. And those principles have been embraced, and we strive now to live by them. Together, we discovered those principles that were already there all along, and you, the Churches of God General Conference, founded this university, and you sustain us still, and we're grateful. We have set for ourselves a vision at the university to become a leading Midwestern university marked by 3 watch phrases. We will be a heartland community, that embraces diverse perspectives and provides transformative experiences to our students. We have set for ourselves a strategic plan that will enable us to live out our principles and make our vision a reality with God's grace. In our efforts, we have been blessed with generous support so that we have added a 42,000 square foot wing to the Davis Street building for lab sciences. If you have a free moment, you may take a stroll over to that new wing. There are the most amazing simulated people lying about over there, and they do all the things that humans do, but they don't talk. At least not unless you push the right button. We've made plans to raise funds for a new College of Business building, and to the delight of many, Old Main has added air conditioning on every floor. I just couldn't imagine going to work without air conditioning. But of course I did move here from Louisiana. Because of the generosity of our donors, fundraising has hit record highs, and the Board of Trustees has raised the goal of our current comprehensive campaign, Give Voice to Your Values, from $40 million to $50 million. But we are mindful that our calling is not simply to raise money or build buildings, but to help our students discover their calling. Important developments that you may find directly beneficial to your churches include the launch of a 50% tuition discount scholarship for students enrolling full-time in the Bachelor of Arts degree in Religious Studies, Christian Studies emphasis in collaboration with Winebrenner. So what a wonderful opportunity for men and women who sense a call to Christian service and who want to grow intellectually, spiritually, and professionally. We have been praying for this initiative for some time, and now it is a reality. So please keep this in mind. Any church members or any of you who would like to pursue a bachelor's degree in religious studies in conjunction with the University of Findlay and Winebrenner have the opportunity for a 50% scholarship. So I hope that you'll be able to that many of you and your church members will be able to take advantage of this. The University of Findlay and Winebrenner Theological Seminary are in the early stages of putting this degree online. So we hope that the online BA in Religious Studies with a Christian Studies focus will be up and running by fall 2014 online. So stay tuned for that. This is the first year that students at the University of Findlay will take one of 7 religion or philosophy courses in which they think deeply about questions of purpose, personal identity, transcendence, vocation, and service. The University of Findlay students have always been required to take a religion or philosophy course, of course. But now the requirement is more fine-tuned and meaningful. You have seen the journal, you should see the journals, Louis Dolman tells me, of the students who have completed this journey. They're amazing. And when Louis says something, I believe it. New scholarships have been developed. This is a very exciting development. New scholarships have been established for students in any major who show promise of emerging Christian leadership. And this is made, these scholarships are made available through the generous donations of Jack and Judy Ridge. And if this goes well, we will be able to continue, perhaps grow this fund and be able to offer more and more of these scholarships. And these are available to new students coming to the university if they meet the criteria and are recommended by a committee. And it's available, the scholarships are available to current students who are continuing. So we want to encourage students to grow in their Christian walk. We will assign to each of these scholars a Christian mentor from the faculty or staff. And I think this is the beginning of something really wonderful. It's a quiet, generous gift that I think will transform the reputation of the University of Findlay into a place where everyone recognizes that we take our Christian founding seriously. Just this past summer, in fact, just a couple of weeks ago, Roger and I, my husband Roger and I, the father of those 6 children, attended a Council of Independent Colleges retreat for presidential couples on the topic of vocation. Presidential vocation matching university or college mission. We enjoyed it very much, and it was, in fact, far more renewing and revealing than we expected it to be. The book we read is this one, and I recommend it to you if you're interested. It's called Leading Lives That Matter: What We Should Do and Who We Should Be. And it has excerpts from many, many great writers: C.S. Lewis, Thomas Merton, William James, Albert Schweitzer, the list goes on. But one of the passages that was particularly meaningful to me, very brief, I'd like to share it with you, written by that great Christian crusader, Dietrich Bonhoeffer. In encounter with Jesus Christ, a person experiences God's call, and in it the calling to a life in community with Jesus Christ. Human beings experience the divine grace that claims them. It is not human beings who seek out grace in its place, for God lives in unapproachable light. Instead, grace seeks out and finds human beings in their place. The Word became flesh and claims them precisely there. It is a place that in every case and in every respect is burdened with sin and guilt, be it a royal throne, the home of a respected citizen, or a shanty of misery. It is a place of this world. This visitation by grace took place in Jesus Christ becoming human, and still occurs in the Word about Jesus Christ that the Holy Spirit brings. I found it very refreshing to be with many other presidential couples discussing and discovering anew that our call is not just to establish a great institution, but it is to follow the call of grace that claims us. Now, Roger really was the most popular person at this retreat, as is often the case, because he is a bit irreverent. We're working on that. And one of the reasons I knew that this was a place where God had ordained for me to be is that Roger was himself through the entire interview process, and the job was offered to me anyway. So just please know I'm grateful. And he is too. But when we were talking about the topic of vocation early in this retreat, he said that he's often at presidential couple events and institutes that are offered. And we have been to a number of those in our 3 years here. And he finds that a number of the spouses, most of them women, but not all of them, there's a growing number of men among the presidential spouses. Many of them complain about giving up their careers and sacrificing their own careers so that they can serve the institutions where their spouses serve. Roger always says that I rescued him from his career, and I'm grateful that he's not unhappy. But what we learned in this week is something we already knew, and that is career and vocation are not the same thing. We may have many careers and we live out our vocation in those careers, but we live out our vocation in any way that we touch other people's lives. And a person can have a full and successful vocation without ever having a paid job. So it was good to be reminded of that, and I think those are messages good to bring back to our students. We do want our students to get paying jobs. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not the whole of their education or of their vocation. So we were reminded during this retreat, as you have reminded me again this morning, that ultimately our vocation, for all of us who are called to be Christians, is this: to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And this is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. And I would say all of the identity statements and strategic plans in the world hang on these two commands. And may we remember that at the university. Aspiring to live within the grace that makes this call to love God and others effectual, we ask, the Christians at the University of Findlay ask you, our church, that you keep us in prayer, in your prayers, that we may remember each day that our vocation is to help our students find their vocation. I will conclude with this brief story. Early in the fall semester, it was a beautiful day, as we have here in Ohio. A colleague and I were sitting in a gazebo not far from Old Main, conducting some business, and a brand new first-year student walked through the gazebo, and she was clearly energetic and happy, and I asked her how she was doing, and she said, "I was born for college." And my prayer is that she will discover before she leaves us all the things she was born for. Thank you.